126 actual. Target is in the main house. You have execute authority.
Bravo 6. Going dark.
How's it going, troops? Jordan here, back again with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare Loadout video. In today's loadout video, we are going to be creating another military base class setup. Today we are heading to the vastness of Mother Russia as we join their elite special forces unit and become a soldier of Spetsnaz. This one has been requested by a few people in the comment section, and so without further ado, let's take a look at our mission briefing. This is going to be a military loadout to play as an elite Spetsnaz soldier. We're going to be using accurate weaponry to gun down our enemies, and our third objective goal is to scramble enemy radars and sabotage enemy vehicles and objective points. The origins of Spetsnaz begin at the end of the 1950s, when the Soviet Union's Red Army fought off Nazi Germany at the Eastern Front back in World War II. Some of the countries the USSR fought for joined and sided with the Soviet Union after the war had ended. Wojska Specjalnego Nazначenia, or Spetsnaz, is an umbrella term for Russian special forces as well as post-Soviet forces. This is why now we see a variety of Spetsnaz forces in former Soviet countries like Ukraine, Belarus and Kazakhstan. But for this loadout video, we're going to be focusing purely on the Russian Spetsnaz. This Spetsnaz special forces unit are known for infiltrating enemy territory and either taking out high value targets or destroying enemy communication stations and vehicles. In December of 1979, Spetsnaz carried out their most famous operation known as Operation Storm 333. During this operation, Spetsnaz forces dressed as Afghan soldiers and stormed the Tajbek Palace in Afghanistan, killing the Afghan president Hafizullah Amin and killing his 200 personal bodyguards. It was this operation that launched the Soviets, the Afghan government and the Mujahideen into war throughout the 1980s, in which the Mujahideen won. 2014 was the year the Winter Olympics was to take place in Sochi, Russia. However, Intel had revealed a terrorist plot to attack the Olympic Games. This information wasn't taken lightly at all, and Spetsnaz movement had increased around venues that hosted the Olympic Games. Thankfully, no such attack occurred, and the leader of the Chechen militant group who called for these attacks was killed by a Spetsnaz soldier. Not a lot is known about the current Spetsnaz in 2020 and the operations they have taken part in, as the Russian government now choose to keep these details under wraps. Most recently, it's believed the Spetsnaz have had involvement in Syria with the civil war going on there, reportedly being seen in Aleppo and in Homs. So let's kick off a secretive loadout by taking a look at our primary weapon that we're going to be equipping. The Spetsnaz are very strict when it comes to their weaponry. They only use Russian built weapons and attach very accurate and deadly configurations, which is why they are seen as a threat by many NATO countries. Weapons like the AS-FAL, the AK-47M and the AKS-74U are commonly used amongst the group, but unfortunately we don't have the AS-FAL in Modern Warfare. We could go with the AKS-74U and recreate it in game, but a short barreled carbine isn't going to be as accurate as we want it to be. So instead we'll recreate a 2020 version of the AK-74M by choosing the AK-47 as our primary weapon in game and acquire a more modern look to it. But of course we can't go in bare bones, so let's equip some attachments for our AK-47. For our first attachment, we're going to be going with a barrel, and the barrel I have chosen is of course Spetsnaz Elite. This heavyweight barrel is used by Russian special forces such as Spetsnaz, as the name suggests, and gives us this black modern look with the addition of increased damage and range. For our second attachment, we're going to be choosing an optic, and the optic I've gone with is the APX-5 holographic sight. Spetsnaz usually equip an optical attachment onto their rifles for better sight targeting, and this advanced Russian holographic sight will do just that. For our third attachment, we're going to be choosing a stock, and the stock that I have gone with is the FSS Close Quarters stock. This streamlined synthetic stock allows us to aim down our sights much faster, giving us a tactical advantage over our enemies. So the FSS Close Quarters stock will be our third attachment. For our fourth attachment, we're going to be looking into the ammunition, and I have selected the 5.45 by 39mm 30 round mags. Since we are recreating the AK-74M, The 74M's magazine uses the 5.45 by 39mm intermediate round for improved firing accuracy and reliability, so we'll equip these magazines to our AK-47. And finally, for our fifth and final attachment, we're going to be choosing an underbarrel, and the underbarrel I have gone for is the Commando foregrip. This angled synthetic grip enhances recoil stabilisation and aiming stability for better control when firing. This attachment also adds to that modern black furnishing look, so the Commando foregrip will be our fifth and final attachment. So those are going to be our attachments for the AK-47. Now let's move on to our secondary weapon of choice for this loadout. Spetsnaz don't always just go into hostile grounds with force, as some soldiers sit from afar in a sniper role. These Russian snipers scout out enemies for the rest of the team and pick them off with immense pinpoint precision. The sniper rifle of choice the Spetsnaz enjoy using is the Dragunov and its variants, as they provide accurate, quick semi-automatic fire and are lightweight to carry around. The Dragunov is chambered with the 7.62 by 54mm rimmed cartridge, which again allows for that distinct curve on the magazine. The Dragunov is available to us in Modern Warfare, so we'll choose the Dragunov as our secondary weapon. And just like our primary weapon, we can't go in bare bones, so let's equip some attachments for our Dragunov. For our first attachment, we're going to be choosing an optic, and the optic I've gone for is the variable zoom scope. When searching for enemies from a distance, we want to be able to clarify our targets with ease. The variable zoom scope will let us interchange between a 5x magnification and a 12.1x magnification, so we'll choose this optic as our first attachment. For our second attachment, we're going to be choosing a stock, and I've gone for the F-Tac Stalker Scout. The standard wooden stock the Dragunov is known for might not necessarily be the best stock to have in 2020. In-game, this stock adapter decreases the time it takes for us to aim down our scope, and being an elite Spetsnaz soldier, we want that fast aiming, so the F-Tac Stalker Scout will be our second attachment. For our third attachment, we're going to be choosing a weapon perk, and the weapon perk I've gone for is Presence of Mind. The real-life Spetsnaz are trained to the max in focus, concentration and steadiness. Presence of Mind gives us an extended hold breath time, and that extended time might be the difference between an EKIA and an FKIA, which is why Presence of Mind will be our third attachment. And lastly, for our fourth and final attachment, we can be choosing an underbarrel, and of course the only underbarrel we do have available for the Dragunov is the bipod. These stability legs will improve our recoil control when firing the Dragunov in a crouched or prone position, and makes for a perfect finish as our final attachment for this sniper rifle. So those are going to be our primary and secondary weapons for this class setup. Now let's take a look at our perks and equipment that we're going to be selecting. For our first tier perk, we're going to be choosing Cold-Blooded. Spetsnaz are very covert with their operations and missions, and so like death moving in the shadows, we want to stay invisible to the enemy. Cold-Blooded, as the name suggests, keeps our bodies ice cold against hostile thermal scopes and kill streaks, and helps us to recreate those sneaky infiltrations that the Spetsnaz do. For our second tier perk, we're going to be choosing Overkill. In order for us to equip both the AK-47 and the Dragunov for this loadout, we need to select Overkill, which allows us to carry these two badass primary weapons, so Overkill will be our tier 2 perk. And lastly, for our third tier perk, we're going to be choosing Shrapnel. This perk will go hand in hand with our lethal equipment that we'll talk more about in just a minute. Shrapnel grants us the ability to equip an extra lethal for our loadout, and any explosive damage caused to the enemy will delay their health regeneration. The Spetsnaz are known for destroying enemy comms and taking out assailants swiftly, and by doubling up on explosive charges, we can use this to eliminate our targets, and that's why Shrapnel will be our tier 3 and final perk of this loadout. Moving on now to our equipment, for our lethal slot, I have chosen C4. As I've mentioned, the Spetsnaz use explosives to disable and destroy enemy communication stations and hostile vehicles. In Modern Warfare, we can equip the C4 explosive to replicate this, and coinciding with the Shrapnel perk, we can equip 2 C4 explosives and devastate the enemy twofold. C4 is useful for taking out enemy IAVs and APCs, and is extremely effective if you chuck one of these into a window or door, and blow the enemy to Kingdom Come. So the C4 will be our lethal equipment. And for our tactical slot, we're going to go with the decoy grenade. It's one thing destroying enemy comms, but it's another to use it against them. Decoy grenades in Modern Warfare create a false ping on the enemy minimap, and mimics gunfire to create confusion. This is useful to draw the enemy's attention elsewhere, shifting their focus onto a distraction and giving us the opportunity to strike. So the decoy grenade will be our tactical equipment. So now that we've talked about our perks and equipment, it's time to finish off this loadout by taking a look at our field upgrade of choice and our selection of 3 kill streaks. For our field upgrade, we're going to be choosing Dead Silence. Spetsnaz wear balaclavas underneath their helmets to help protect their identities, keep their faces warm in colder climates, and intimidate their foes. The Dead Silence field upgrade features a balaclava, so we'll choose this as our field upgrade. Moving on to our 3 selected kill streaks. For our first kill streak, we're going to be choosing the counter UAV. The counter UAV drone scrambles enemy radars, disrupting any critical communication displayed to them on the minimap. Furthermore, the closer the enemy gets to the affected area, the more their HUD will be scrambled, thus making the counter UAV a transmission nightmare. This kill streak aligns perfectly with one of our mission goals, and so the counter UAV will be our first kill streak. For our second kill streak, I have gone with the precision airstrike. Spetsnaz get down and dirty when the job gets gritty, and will need supporting fire when they discover their target's location. We want to kill hostiles and sabotage their transportation and equipment by any means necessary for the motherland, and so by calling in a precision airstrike onto a designated zone, 2 Warthog jets will strafe onto the map and deliver a spray of armor-piercing bullets that will leave no man or woman walking. And lastly, for our third kill streak, we're going to be choosing the Juggernaut. Everything is big in Russia, and when padding up with bulletproof vests, helmets, gloves and tactical belts, the Russians like to do things another step further. The Juggernaut suit provides heavy armor plating all around the body and a bulky armor plated helmet for maximum protection against explosions and gunfire. This would be the perfect bomb disposal suit that the Spetsnaz can use to disarm detonators and charges. In Modern Warfare, the Juggernaut grants you a huge boost in health thanks to the padded armour, as well as a badass minigun with an unlimited supply of bullets to pierce through your enemies. We can choose to rock along to heavy metal music, but I think the state anthem of the Soviet Union would be much more satisfying, as you lay waste to your enemies and become the ultimate machine of death. Combining our weaponry, perks, equipment, field upgrade and kill streaks, in Mother Russia, you don't handle gun, gun handles you. So troops, that wraps up my Spetsnaz loadout video for Modern Warfare. Next time you boot up Modern Warfare multiplayer, definitely give this sick class setup a try in game and hammer your way through the enemies. If you did enjoy this video, then do give the video a thumbs up, I would appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, and whilst you're there, make sure you click on the bell notification icon right next to it, so that way you'll always be notified as to when I make an upload. If you have any friends who might be interested in this sort of content, then definitely share the video with them to help give my videos and my channel more widespread exposure. And if you want to see any behind the scenes previews of my loadout videos, you can follow me on Twitter at jordanxbrookes for all the latest on there. Keep an eye out for more military themed loadouts and more playstyle loadouts in the near future. So troops, until the next video, I thank you all for watching, stay safe and stay at home, and of course stay true to me troops, and I'll see you in game.
Kaboom.